Hey, what's going on, guys? UFC 296, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington just ended, and this is going to be my post-fight recap for the main event. I'll also be doing a full card post-fight. I'll link that down below as soon as it's done. But Leon Edwards retains his welterweight title with unanimous scorecards, 49-46, among all three of the judges, which it was like a Hall of Fame of horrible judges. Saul D'Amato, Derek Clearly, and Chris Lee. I mean, I was just waiting for them to somehow mess up the scorecards, even though these were pretty clear-cut. And honestly, initial thoughts, and we'll go through it round by round. Colby Covington put on one of the most embarrassing performances, I think, in modern title history. The only one off the top of my head, and maybe this is recency bias, but the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza 2. That's how embarrassing. Now, I know that was both of them were putting on an embarrassing performance, but that is the level of performance that that Colby Covington put on against Leon Edwards. It was basically a complete shutout. I know 49-46 indicates that Colby won a round, which was the 5th round, but for the most part, Leon Edwards destroyed him. The first round, it was Colby. He shot like one takedown. It was a half-hearted takedown attempt. Never got close. It was Leon Edwards, just deep into the body, landing some leg kicks, landed a hard left hand in the first round as well. Colby landed a couple kicks, but for the most part, Leon was just backing him up. Second round, same thing. It was Leon just kind of picking him apart. I don't even think Colby shot in on a takedown in the second round. Leon just kicking the legs, teeps to the body, landing upstairs as well. Third round, Leon was beating him up some more. Colby looked for a takedown and then was getting stuffed, but then Leon decided to try to take the back, so Colby did end up getting that takedown. But Leon Edwards just basically shucked him right off, got up, landed a head kick, shot in on his own takedown, got stuffed, shot in on another takedown, got a takedown with ease, then let him back up, and then won the majority of the rest of the round, which was like maybe a minute left. Fourth round was probably Colby's best round. I know he technically won the 5th, but in terms of actual damage, Colby probably did the best in the 4th round, but it was still a relatively dominant round for Leon Edwards. Was beating him up. Colby started to find a little bit of success with his hands. That's why I say it was his best round. He shot in on a sloppy takedown. Almost got guillotined. Leon Edwards started wrapping it up real quick. Colby did like a full 360 spin to get out of it. Then you had Colby actually get a takedown because Leon Edwards, again, stuffing the takedowns, looked to take the back. And he was held down for a little bit, but then got back up. And then the 5th round, which Colby won, you had Leon Edwards maybe winning for the first minute or so. Then Colby shoots in on a takedown, gets a takedown, and then Leon Edwards works his way back to his feet. And then I think he trips him down. He kind of trips him down a little bit, then kind of takes Colby's back for a second, starts looking for a rear naked choke, then ends up kind of getting shook over the top, then sets up a triangle, which looked so tight. I thought he was going to finish it with the triangle. Wasn't able to get it. The legs came a little bit loose. I watched the replay a little bit. It kind of looked weird. Colby gets out of it, ends up on top. Colby does a little bit of damage to kind of end the round. The neck lasts like maybe minute and a half, 2 minutes. I think Colby was in solid top position. Really just throwing barely any ground and pound shots and looking to set up an arm triangle the entire time. But it seemed like Leon was like, there's only 2 minutes left. I'm not going to risk exposing my back or any submissions trying to get up. And I'm just going to kind of ride it out here. So Colby won the 5th round, but not really. I think there's even an argument to be made that Leon won the 5th round, but I'm not going to argue semantics. I don't really care about that round at all. I understand why Colby got it, just because, grappling and control. But Leon had some control in that round as well. But Leon dominated this fight. Forget about the 5th round. Won clearly the first 4 rounds. It was not even a close fight. Tagged his legs. Colby's lead leg was absolutely battered. Was teeping him to the body. Was landing with the hands. Was pressuring him. And meanwhile, Colby Covington is just waiting there to be chewed up with Leon strikes. It was one of the most embarrassing title performances that I've ever seen. This performance was atrocious by Colby Covington. And it's even more embarrassing when you compound the fact of the way Colby talked coming into this fight. It's the American Revolution. Well, he didn't win. He didn't even come close to winning. Matter of fact, he didn't even seem like he tried. And then on top of that, he's talking about, I'm going to get Donald Trump to wrap the belt around my waist. He's coming to my fight. I don't think he's ever showing up for a fight. People always say, Trump likes Masvidal more. Probably so after tonight. And it was crazy because Colby in the early rounds was super measured, okay? And here I am watching it live on stream. You can go check it out. I'm like, yeah, Colby's pacing himself. He's going to try to get Leon in the, late 2nd round, starting to really 3rd, start to pick up the pressure, start to land shots, and then really start to work his grappling and pressure and volume in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round because he's worried about getting KO'd from Leon. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting and wait, and it just basically never happened. He started to pick up a little bit of pressure in that fourth round, started to land some shots. Last 2 minutes of the fourth round, really landed some good shots on Leon, but that was it. And, a lot of people are wondering what happened with Colby tonight. And the commentators were already making excuses for him mid-fight. Oh, ring rust, the time off, blah, 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 making every excuse under the book. We don't know what's going on with Colby, kind of hinting at potential injuries and whatnot. I will tell you right here, right now, what I believe happened with Colby Covington, because Colby Covington doesn't typically fight like that. He typically moves forward, pressure, volume. Colby is an internet troll that actually fights in the cage. And what happened here tonight, he talks so much shit, and he can't possibly back it up in the cage because all he does is really hold on to your legs. He wasn't fighting to win. He was fighting to avoid getting brutally KO'd in a meme-like fashion. I truly believe that's what Colby Covington's mindset was in the cage against Leon Edwards. Just please don't get meme KO'd. Please don't get meme KO'd. That's essentially what he wanted to do. He was like, I don't want to get meme KO'd. Even if I lose a decision, I can claim there was cheating or something along those lines. Luckily, there was no cheating in this fight. There was a slight cup hit by Leon Edwards in like the third or fourth round that grazed his cup on a knee to the body by Leon Edwards. The foot touched his cup. Colby said he's good. Let's keep going. That was really it. There's no controversy. There's no bad referee stoppage. There's no weird call or stand up. There's no controversy that Leon Edwards can pluck out, or Colby Covington can pluck out against Leon Edwards and say, I would have won if it wasn't for this. He got destroyed here. He got kicked to the body. He got kicked to the legs. He got picked apart upstairs. He had a busted up nose. He was bleeding from his cheek in the first round after that left hand. He got countered. He got out wrestled, out clinched. He got out struck. I mean, there's no bright spots in this fight for Colby Covington. And I just think this is, a bunch of things combined together. One, Colby was never as good as people thought he was. And I've said this for a long time that I think Colby's good, but look at his resume. He's not fighting the best competition. And I actually thought people were underestimating Colby coming into this fight because they were completely writing him off. I think those people were right. I was kind of thinking, Colby could, he does have good cardio. He just couldn't get past the striking of Leon Edwards. And I think in this fight, you have a compounding of age, time off, and I know these are kind of excuses, but the fact he was never really that skilled. He's a wrestling specialist. His striking has always been horrible. He doesn't really have jiu-jitsu. He basically has his cardio and his volume. And if you're not worried about his takedowns, his striking doesn't work. Leon Edwards has been training for 3 years essentially to fight Colby. 2 camps for Kamaru Usman and then a camp for Colby Covington. Leon Edwards has worked on his takedown defense over and over and over again. And with Kamaru Usman, he was also worried about the power of Kamaru Usman coming back. Colby looked slow. He looked completely, even though I think he was overrated to begin with in terms of skill set over the last few years, I really do believe he's regressed even worse than that. He looked slow. A lot of the shots he was throwing was just whiffing at air. Some of the kicks he was throwing was Leon just got out of the way and got back in range. They were so slow and labored. The hands didn't look good. The shots on takedowns looked horrible. And let me just say this. I think in the 5th round, there was like a high crotch takedown. That was the initial takedown for Colby Covington in the 5th round. Outside of that, none of the other takedowns Colby Covington would have gotten if Leon Edwards didn't kind of engage in the grappling and look to take the back and look to do something and get an advantageous ground position. Leon Edwards was trying to prove a point here. He shot in on those 2 takedowns in that, I think it was the 3rd round, because he just wanted to prove a point. He got taken down. He got right back up, slammed a head kick into Colby, shot it on a takedown, got stuffed, and said, I'm going to shoot it on another one. Colby initially kind of stuffed it, and then Leon just kept pressing forward, got the double leg. Colby's feet were just right next to each other, and Leon just took him down with these, and then basically let him right back up. Colby rolled to his stomach. Leon said, you know what, get up. I'll continue to outstrike you. Colby is a version of himself that just can't compete in the elite of the welterweight division. He did not deserve this title shot. He sat out for 2 years in witness protection. He already was at a skill deficiency against the majority of the welterweight division. And this is what happens when you take a guy whose biggest achievements were losing to Kamaru Usman and you throw him in a title fight after he sits out for 2 years. He's going to get relatively dominated by Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards is so good. There's no holes in his game. There's absolutely no holes in his game. He's not a guy that, years ago he could be out-grappled. Kamaru Usman out-grappled him in that second fight, in the original title fight where he got the head kick KO. But even in that fight, Leon had some ability. The first round, he did get him down. And also, he gets the 5th round KO. That's a massive confidence builder. You put him in against a 35, almost 36-year-old Colby Covington, this is what you're going to get. Colby's body got chewed up. His legs got chewed up. He got punched in the face quite a bit. Would I like to see Leon Edwards maybe be a little bit more aggressive? Sure. But I think Leon Edwards was particularly measured like he always is because he said this was an emotional fight. Colby Covington brought up my dead father. We're going to talk about that in a second. And I think Leon was kind of in his head like, I'm not going to give him what he wants. I'm not going to be ultra aggressive and walk into a counter shot. I'm not going to be ultra aggressive and get taken down. But for the most part, Leon Edwards walked him down. Teeps to the body, leg kicks, battered that leg. So even though Leon, maybe he could have looked a little bit harder for a finish, he fought a pretty good fight. And my voice is cracking because I streamed for 8 hours. I streamed this entire card, so apologies for my voice. But Leon walked him down, beat him up, out-grappled him, outworked him in the clinch. And the only thing that Colby had was the little bit of ground control, 2 minutes of ground control in the 5th round because Leon Edwards decided to engage there and had his back and then looked for a triangle and almost had a triangle. So would I have liked Leon to get the finish? Yes. But this was a definitive beatdown. This was a definitive beatdown. And the reason this performance was so embarrassing for Colby, imagine talking all that shit. Imagine talking all that shit and bringing up someone's dead father who was murdered when they were a child or teenager, I think. Imagine talking that way and then coming out and fighting in the capacity that he did. He didn't really try to fight. He didn't really try. He looked horrible. He looked slow. The shots looked like you could see him coming from a mile away. And if Leon Edwards didn't engage in those situations, he would have almost never gotten taken down by Colby. So Colby truly embarrassed himself. He didn't really throw a whole lot of shots. He threw a couple leg kicks, like he started off in the first round, but kind of got away from him. I mean, it's hard for me to think of any real solid shots that Colby landed outside of that 4th round where he landed a couple good shots with his hands. He didn't really try in this fight because Leon Edwards was able to shut him down, was able to absolutely shut him down. But Colby, instead of saying, you know what, this guy's way better than me, let me try to go for a finish. Let me try to overwhelm him. Let me try to catch him at a weird angle. He said, you know what? I don't want to get meme KO'd. That's what happened here. He did not want to get meme KO'd. When he realized he was at a skill deficiency, he said, let me just cruise to a decision where I can lose. And that's what happened here. Leon Edwards beat him pretty definitively. And this was an embarrassing performance by Colby. He should be ashamed of himself, to be quite honest. And then he gets on the mic afterwards, throws out a bunch of political propaganda and says, I think I won the fight. I mean, could this be a bigger loss for Colby Covington this week? To talk the way he talked about someone's dead father and then lose the fight in the way he did, utter domination, then come out afterwards and say, oh, I think I won the fight. There's not a scratch on me. Meanwhile, he's bleeding from his face. Meanwhile, his leg is battered. Meanwhile, his body is battered. I don't have a scratch on me and people were ducking me and blah, blah, blah. He's been turning down fights left and right. And he got gifted a title shot that he did not deserve, and he came out and laid an absolute egg because he was scared of getting meme KO'd. That's what happened here. He could have pushed the pace. He could have looked to land shots. He could have been more aggressive, but he said, you know what? Leon's beating me to the punch every time. Leon's stuffing my takedowns. I don't want to get KO'd by Leon. So let me just do this. Let me just kind of chill back and I'll eat my shots and I'll be able to survive, live to fight another day. And then to come out and say, I think I won. And then, you know, the constant, he's attached his entire persona to a political figure. I don't understand it. Sucking off Donald Trump does not earn points with the judges, Colby. I don't understand. It's because Colby would not have any fans if he didn't attach himself to a political leader. I'll never understand why you have Colby Covington essentially being Donald Trump's Monica Lewinsky. That is what he's doing here. And it's embarrassing to Joe Rogan's asking him questions. What was going on there tonight? And he's just talking about Trump. Trump was embarrassed of you, Colby. He likes Jorge Masvidal more. You came out and put on a shit performance. And now he's 36 years old. He's lost 3 title shots. His biggest accomplishment is 2 losses to Kamaru Usman. He doesn't have a single ranked win right now. He does not have a win over a current top 15 ranked welterweight. His last win was the dead body of Jorge Masvidal. Win before that, Tyron Woodley. Where does he fit into the future of the welterweight division? I don't know. I don't know because it's stiff competition. And let me just say this right now. The fight I want to see for Colby Covington next, and it's not going to happen because Dana White announced a bunch of fights afterwards. I would love to see Ian Machado Gary versus Colby Covington. And let me just give you an early prediction. Ian Machado Gary absolutely destroys him. But I would love to see his grappling tested. But I don't know, like, who does Colby beat in the welterweight division? Like, thinking off the top of my head right now, I think Bilal beats him worse than Leon probably. Because Bilal's not going to be worried about a takedown at all. And Bilal, you know, I don't know, maybe not worse than Leon, but I think Bilal would go out there and look for a finish against Colby. Colby's a washed up version of his former self that wasn't all that skilled. And his future in the welterweight division is very bleak. He's saying, oh, I'm going to come back stronger in adversity and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments. Is him saying he thought he won because as soon as the bell rang, he ran off and threw his hands up in the air, and then he would look pissed when the decision was read? Does he actually think he won? Is he that delusional? I don't know. Maybe that's all part of the character. But if he really thinks he won, that is delusional. But even if he doesn't think he won, to say that in the post-fight after literally getting dominated and not really having any moments in the entire fight, it's just not a good look. I don't know. Colby, I've already said Colby's not a draw. He faced Jorge Masvidal, who's a bigger draw than him in a main event, and it sold less than 400,000 pay-per-view buys. Did this fight card probably do pretty good? It was a pretty big pay-per-view in terms of quality of fighters. It probably did pretty decent. But any star power that Colby had, being the low-tier draw that he is, it's out the window now. I mean, does anyone honestly... Colby is not only a boring fighter in terms of the majority of MMA fans would, you know, look at his style regardless of his personality and say he's a boring fighter. Not only that, he's now has no relevant wins. Like the UFC showing highlights, and we're going back in time to see Colby highlights during the, you know, highlight packages that they're showing to hype up the fight. Colby is the Uncle Rico of the welterweight division. Coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we would have took states. How much you want to bet I could throw a pigskin over those mountains? He is living in 2017, 2018. And Leon Edwards, I think, put the stamp on Colby Covington's career, but I would love to see him fight Ian Machado Gary before that career's over. I think that'll be a big fight for both of them. I think it'll be a big test for Ian Gary's grappling. And I think Colby maybe kind of gets back into contention a little bit, but not really. I had a hiccup right there. Not really. I think Colby's done. I think Colby's done. And to sycophantically just talk about a political leader after you had one of the worst performances of your career, I think it just left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. I think it left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, you know? And like, I don't care. People always say, you know, the Colby fanboys always say, oh, you don't like Colby because of his political beliefs. There's so many people that just throw out that trope over and over and over again. Well, maybe it's just because the guy doesn't fight. Maybe because he doesn't have a super exciting fight style. Maybe because he crosses the line and says disgusting things. Maybe because when he does get an undeserved opportunity and he talks a bunch of crap in the lead up to the fight about someone's murdered father, he shows up and puts on a dud of performance. That is why. If I never saw Colby fight again, I wouldn't care. He's done. His biggest accomplishment is losing to Kamaru Usman. And the only reason there's anyone that likes him is because they're a part of that political theater. They like that political theater that Colby Covington brings along with himself, and sycophantically buying up political memorabilia and just worshiping another grown man. That is what Colby Covington has achieved in his career. And I think Leon Edwards finally put that nail in the coffin by just completely outclassing him tonight. But that's pretty much it for the fight. Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad should be next. I don't know if that will be next. Shavkat Rakhmonov put his name in the hat tonight. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.